Hello, this is Todd Luck, and because you can never have too much of a good thing, this is a review of the brand new Tarzan of the Apes hardcover written by the legendary Roy Thomas with amazing artwork by Pablo Marcus with colors and letters by Oscar Gonzalez. So this hardcover is actually a printing of an online comic strip that is available for subscription on edgarriceburroughs.com. They have a subscription service with a ton of online strips. Most of it is adaptations of Edgar Rice Burroughs novels. And so this is actually the third hardcover reprinting comic strips from that service. The first one is this beautiful hardcover reprinting I Am a Barbarian by Edgar Rice Burroughs. And this is the complete comic strip adaptation. This is available from Cedar Run Publications. The second hardcover is Tarzan, The New Adventures, and this reprints comic strips that tell new original stories by Roy Thomas, and this has artwork by Thomas Greinberg as well as Benito Gallego, who, by the way, is also the artist on the upcoming Lord of the Jungle comic series from Dynamite Comics. It's going to be officially licensed and written by Dan Jurgens. It's going to come out in November, and you can pre-order that right now. So Tarzan, The New Adventures and Tarzan of the Apes are both put out by Dark Horse, so they both have the same format, and it's quite nice. The covers are different colors here, so you can tell them apart. This one is jungle green, and this one is loincloth brown. So how Dark Horse does the covers for these hardcovers is basically they just pick random panels from the interior, and I gotta say, it looks really, really fantastic. It's hard for me to take my eyes off of this. You know, just about every panel in the interior is cover worthy. And on the back, we have, you know, a little bit of text about what the book's about. And then, of course, this really cool panel of Tarzan just standing there chilling. Now, those of you who have sharp eyes and encyclopedic knowledge of Burroughs' Tarzan novels will recognize that some of these panels are not from Tarzan of the Apes. This is Tarzan with a little native boy on his back, and so that is from Jungle Tales of Tarzan. And that is because Jungle Tales of Tarzan chronologically happens in the middle of Tarzan of the Apes. And so in this hardcover, you're going to get to a point in the novel. It's going to be just after he has his first encounters with the tribe of Mbonga and Kala dies that you're going to get Jungle Tales of Tarzan, because that's when it happens in his life. And so this isn't just an adaptation, this is a chronological telling of Tarzan's life. And my guess is Roy Thomas decided to go that route because he tried it on another pulp character he did a little bit of work on, and I would say it probably worked out okay. As you can tell if you look around me, there's been a lot of Tarzan of the Apes adaptations in comic book form over the years. I actually had plans to have Bern Hogarth's right there. I bought it 5 days ago, and unfortunately it hasn't shipped. You know, some days are better than others on eBay. If you do want a list of Tarzan of the Apes comics adaptations, I did include one with my review of the Marvel Super Special Tarzan of the Apes, so you might want to look that up if you're interested. What this offers that's different from these others is, well, first of all, as I said, the chronological telling of Tarzan's life with, you know, Jungle Tales appearing exactly where it's supposed to in Tarzan's life, but also, of course, the fact that you have this artwork, right? The art is always going to be unique between each version. And also the thoroughness of this. Because this is a comic strip, there's really not much limit on how long they can do these adaptations. And so these, as far as I can tell, are the longest comic adaptations of these novels, Jungle Tales of Tarzan and Tarzan of the Apes. So it allows them to be very, very thorough. The only part of the novel that Roy Thomas summarizes is the very beginning, with how Tarzan's parents get to Africa. And so this one actually spends a whole one panel on the boat ride and the resulting mutiny that left them stranded on Africa. So congratulations to Roy Thomas. I think he has the most compressed boat ride to Africa of any comic adaptation. But that means this adaptation gets to spend even more time on the jungle parts of the story, which of course is why we're all here. As much as we love the beginning of the novel. We're not here for a maritime voyage to Africa. We're here for the jungle action and the apes and the animals and the jungle backgrounds and all that stuff. And it is all done so incredibly beautiful, not just the incredibly detailed pencils that cut no corners and leave nothing on the floor, but also the amazing, amazing colors. Every effort is made to make every single strip in here a masterpiece. Now, that doesn't mean you're going to like every single thing that's rendered in here. Like, this is probably not the best baby Tarzan that's ever been done. But my God, look at how great those apes look. Look at the backgrounds. And then you'll turn the page and you'll get this amazing page of Tarzan as a boy, and it's just absolutely gorgeous. Like I said, every effort is put in to make every panel in here a masterpiece, and I think for the most part they succeed. And so this is a straight scene-by-scene adaptation of the novel with one artistic license taken here, where they give Tarzan a loincloth early, but they actually explain it here. And so what happens in this version is that when Tarzan is looking at the books in his parents' cabin, he sees that the people in those books are wearing clothes and decides to make his own makeshift outfit. And it even pays tribute to early versions of the character that had that kind of Fred Flintstone kind of caveman outfit, which is kind of cool. And one quick correction to a previous video, I incorrectly said that the only adaptation that I owned of Tarzan of the Apes where he doesn't spontaneously grow a loincloth before he's 18 and meets the tribe of Mbonga when he gets the loincloth in the novel, is Tarzan of the Apes. That is incorrect. I was looking through Joe Kubert's adaptation for DC Comics last night, and he does indeed remain naked all the way up until he meets the tribe of Mbonga when he's supposed to get it in the novels. So there's two adaptations I own that do that. However, I think, the artistic license taken by the Marvel Comics adaptation and this adaptation is perfectly understandable to give him that loincloth a little bit early. The first 57 strips reprinted in here are of Tarzan of the Apes, and then on the 58th one, which you see right here, you're going to begin Jungle Tales of Tarzan. And I gotta say, I forgot how good Jungle Tales of Tarzan is. Yes, it is short stories set when he was about 18 years old, but they're really good. They're interconnected stories that tell a very interesting part of Tarzan's life. This has some of the most amazing animal battles you can possibly think of. This is jungle action at its best. And there's a good variety of animals too, and they're all well rendered. And you also get to learn a lot more about the tribe of Mbonga, and it really fleshes them out as characters and as villains, and you get to meet a lot of different members of that tribe, and you get to meet some who are actually very sympathetic, who are actually essentially the protagonists of their different chapters, and it's just quite interesting. There's even a villainous witch doctor with his pet hyenas who ties together a lot of the stories in Jungle Tales of Tarzan. Burroughs is a more experienced and refined writer when he does Jungle Tales. And so you can really see it because in Tarzan of the Apes, the tribe of Mbonga are a one-dimensional set of villains, and there's not really much individual personality among them. They're basically there as catalysts to make things happen in the story, and they really get fleshed out in Jungle Tales. And Tarzan is not a hero yet in Jungle Tales. He is this kind of morally ambiguous character. He's just this teenager who recently lost his mother, and he doesn't know what he is. He doesn't understand the world, and he sees, other apes around him, having mates and having children, and, he's all alone in just this unique, hairless, white ape who isn't like anybody else. And this is him trying to figure that out, trying to deal with all of that anguish and loneliness. And he's kind of a juvenile delinquent. There are times when in Jungle Tales where Tarzan does things that are very wrong. You'll see that in the last story in here, and he'll actually realize that. This is the first time you're going to see Tarzan kind of start developing a conscience, and it'll kind of lead into the things that he kind of discovers and figures out in the later half of Tarzan of the Apes. And so this is going to get you, again, the first part of Tarzan of the Apes, and then 5 out of 12 of the short stories in Jungle Tales. So the good news is if they do a second volume of this, which they absolutely should, right, is that you're going to have 100 more pages of Jungle Tales by this same creative team. And trust me, you can go online and read them all. Just subscribe to the service. They are amazing. But the bad news is that once you get to the end of the Jungle Tales adaptation, and that's going to be strip number 227, the artistic team leaves the strip. Now, they were on there for many, many years. They put out 227 comic strips. That's the equivalent of more than 11 issues of a regular comic book. So they put in a really good volume of work. And, you know, in an industry talking about comic books where artists rarely last more than like 5 issues at a time on a series, this is pretty remarkable body of work. But unfortunately, they had to leave and they had to get another artist to fill that strip. So starting with strip 228, you'll have a new artist when they go back to adapting the rest of Tarzan of the Apes. And unfortunately, I just feel like he's way too different, and I feel like other artists they have doing their strips would have been way closer to what we had with the previous team and would have been probably more appropriate. However, there are times when I still think it looks fantastic, and of course you still have Roy Thomas lending his talents to do the most thorough adaptation of Tarzan of the Apes ever done. But none of that changes how amazing and what a masterpiece adaptation that this hardcover is, and none of that should dampen your enthusiasm for the next volume if it does come out, because again, it will have 100 pages from this same artistic creative team. And so yes, this hardcover gets my highest possible recommendation. It is out right now at comic shops, so you can go to your local comic shop and order it. If you're a fan of Tarzan, if you're a fan of comics, if you're a fan of pretty pictures, go get this book. All right, that's it. Like and subscribe for more videos, and until next time, see ya.